beautiful. Boys, inshallah, today we're going to be talking about good morals, good manners. Okay, every time, throughout last year, even this year, I always mention that one hadith, that your behavior is the heaviest thing that's going to weigh on the scale on the day of judgment. So we'll start off with a few hadiths, just for the next 5 minutes, to show you how important it is. If you remember last week, we talked about what is Iman, the importance of Iman. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, from Aisha radiallahu anha, qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna min akmal al-mu'minina imanan ahsanuhum khuluqan wa altafuhum bi ahlihi. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you want to have a complete belief, if you want to be at the highest state of Iman, then your morals, your behavior, yeah, when I say morals, I'm talking about your behavior, they need to be perfect. And not just that, you need to be kind to your family. That's the Prophet's hadith. Moving on to the next hadith. Similar hadith, and again, he says, the Prophet said that ahsanu hum khuluqan, that the best among you in Iman will be those people who have perfect character, whose behavior is complete. Okay? And then the Prophet said, and khiyarukum linisa'ihim, and the best among you are those people who are kind to their, or good to their women. Moving on. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, inna min ahabbakum ilayya wa aqrabikum minni majlisan yawm al-qiyamah ahasinakum akhlaqa. Remember on the day of judgment when everyone's going to be running around and they need help. On the day of judgment, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to do shafa'ah, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, the one who's going to have close majlis, the one who's going to be right, the closest to me on the day of judgment, are those people who will have beautiful character, whose behavior is going to be perfect. Okay, you do not know. I have always said to you, you can pray, you can fast, you can do hajj. You don't have that guarantee that it's going to be accepted. If you miss your prayer, Allah can forgive you. But remember, if you've infringed anyone's rights, if you've affected anyone's right through your behavior, whether it's a teacher, whether it's your fellow brother, whether it's your community, whether it's your neighbors, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, your behavior is the heaviest thing that's going to weigh on the day of judgment. And if your behavior is not perfect, then you will be away from the Prophet ﷺ on the day of judgment. And then you can imagine the shafa'ah, the intercession of the Prophet ﷺ, whether you will be deserved of it or not. And the hadith I will say, I'll read out the Arabic which I've mentioned. قال ما من شيء أثقل في الميزان من حسن الخلق. That there is nothing that is heavier on the scale. On the day of judgment, when your deeds will be measured, on the scale, there's nothing that is heavier than your akhlaaq, your behavior. So make sure, boys, your behavior. You need to improve how you speak to each other. You need to improve how you deal with each other. You need to improve how you speak to the teachers. You need to improve how you deal with the teachers. You need to improve how your behavior is with your learning, how your behavior is with the school. That all needs to improve because that is part of Iman, and we've talked about it last week in great detail, how important Iman is. Yeah? Prophet ﷺ said that a person, he said, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ لَا يُدْرِكُ بِحُسْنِ خُلِقِهِ دَرَجَةَ الصَّائِمِ الْقَائِمِ. A person who fasts regularly, obviously he's got high status because of the deeds that the good deeds that he is adding onto his account for fasting. But the Prophet ﷺ said that if you want to attain, fasting is not easy. Yeah, fasting, and we know that in the month of Ramadan, we sometimes do struggle. Yeah, especially in the summer when the days are quite long, we struggle. But the Prophet ﷺ said that anyone who wants to attain the level of a person who fasts continuously, then he should have beautiful character, beautiful behavior, how you deal with each other. Okay? So I don't want to spend more time on this. I went on about it throughout last year, this year. It is your behavior, the most important thing. You see, I don't always stress on namaz. I don't always stress too much on fasting or other acts, which are the pillars of Islam, no doubt about it. But when your behavior is perfect, that's the foundation. Because if you do not behave with each other really well, then on the day of judgment, Allah will not forgive you until that person forgives you. Okay, so if I've infringed Alvi's rights, yeah, if I've not been nice to him, if I've hurt his feelings, then Allah won't forgive me until He forgives me, and vice versa with each other. And remember, I always say this. This is not referring just to the Muslims. Your dealing and your behavior with non-Muslims especially will also be accountable. Yeah, because Allah's not specified that. Everyone is a family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone is a creation of Allah Almighty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rabbul Alameen. He is a cherisher, nourisher of everyone. He doesn't give food to the Muslims and no food to the non-Muslim. Allah is the Rabb of everyone. And the Prophet ﷺ is merciful to everyone, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. Then when we are the followers of the Prophet ﷺ, then our mercy, our good behavior, our good akhlaq should be equal for everyone, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. Okay? So I hope you've learned a very important lesson. Always keep that in mind, because we always shouting, all the teachers saying to you, please behave, please behave, please behave. And it's continuous. So it needs to change. It's in the Quran, it's in the Hadis. And it's obviously, we know from the society what is good character and what is not. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Time is now for your next lesson.